What's that saying? Or like Michelangelo, when he was carving the statue of David out of a big hunk of marble, what did he say? I just chipped away all the parts that didn't look like David. So you're going to get in there and you're going to take out all the stuff that's not going to be part of the final job. And it should look clean.
Always recommend taking off drywall?
It depends on the situation. This was one where it's that the tile was like up, it's like a College Hill house. You know, the tile's all the way up the wall and everything in the kitchen and in the bathroom. So they did it. But what they did nice clean cuts. Now this rehabber owns a very large custom home building business and has done so for like 20 some years. So when they're in between jobs, because you know, if you didn't hear about it, the home building business wasn't doing so well in 2008, 2009. So they started doing some more rehabs to keep their crews busy. So what you're seeing here is, this is the same crew that does labor for these custom home builders. They're selling $400,000 and $500,000 homes. So they expect the same level of work in these rehabs as they do their custom homes. So it looks good, right? It's clean. The drywall's cut. What does this allow you to do? Guys, this is the meat of it. If you do a good job on the demo, if I were to have this bid out by a plumber now who wanted to come in and say, well, what I need you to do, the scope of the plumbing is, for the rough-in, is to rough in a sink, rough in a drain, and run a line for the dishwasher. How much cheaper do you think the plumber's bid is going to be when it looks like this versus go back one, that? Oh, well, he's thinking, well, heck, I just got to, he's still, you know, $50 an hour, and he better be licensed. He better be licensed. Guys, if you're going to do plumbing and electric and you're going to be moving stuff around and adding things, make sure you get a licensed plumber and a licensed electrician. The last thing you want is for the kitchen ceiling to collapse 2 weeks after you sell the house and you get a call 11 o'clock at night. I've been there. Always use a licensed plumber. Always get inspections. So, my point is this. Because you're going to be using licensed plumbers, licensed electricians, and it's going to be more expensive, you're going to pay your $10 an hour demo person to get all that stuff out of there instead of paying your $50 an hour plumber to knock a hole in the wall. So it looks like that. Make sense? I do a budgeting workshop. It's very dry. I try to make it exciting. And man, people throw their hands up the whole time. Well, how do you get it? You can't get a can light installed for that much. That's at least $150 an opening. Not when the ceiling's completely open and all he has to do is go ding, 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 and hook up the wire. Yeah, you can get it done for $50 an opening at that point instead of $150 because it's all right there. They don't want to deal with that. See how I'm spending time on the stuff that most people are like, oh yeah, that's this. No, the planning is really, really important. And the demo is very, very important. It's a close second to the planning. See, it's all about laying that groundwork. You guys ever painted before? What does it take longer to do? Prep or paint?
Prep.
Prep, right? We built a little room addition on the back of our house because we have a baby now. And it's like, well, I didn't have any painters available. I'm like, I'll just paint it myself. It's just one room. So I told my wife, like, I'm going to paint it this weekend. Now, spoiler alert, I did get the whole thing painted in one weekend, but she didn't understand at the end of all of Saturday, well, there was no paint on the walls. There's just these little blue lines everywhere from tape everywhere, all over everything, right? So what'd you do all day? I was prepping. I was filling in the holes. I was doing all that. You didn't paint anything yet. What'd you do all day? I was out. And you were here working. Did you just sit and watch TV? I didn't see tape everywhere. No, it takes longer, right? If you do it right and you patch the holes, you do everything the right way, and you prep it, you're going to save yourself time later. So in the demo, common mistakes. Those old telephone jacks screwed onto the baseboards with the line running all around. No one will touch that except for you the night before the open house, and you're like, they still didn't get that, and then you get down and you got to pry it off, and then there's a space there because they painted around it, and you got to run to Home Depot again to get some paint just for that one. Yeah. You do it the right way, you'll save yourself the trouble. Or the doorbell that's not hooked up to anything, it hasn't been hooked up to anything in 50 years, that nobody took down during the demo phase. So would you rather pay your demo person who's working for $10 an hour to take that ceiling fan down, or would you pay your electrician who's working for $60 an hour to take that ceiling fan down? Demo guy every time, right? So demolition and planning is so important. It's a bathroom, and that's after. So again, this is clean. Jump back one more to that. I want to tell you guys something real quick. On these old, because Cincinnati is an old town, you see a lot of these houses that have these very, very solid tile floors in them. Underneath that, there's like 4 inches of concrete. I mean, the amount of work that went into these things it's immeasurable. Don't take that out. You can use that as your underlayment. You can put your tile right on top of that. You don't need concrete board. You got 4 inches of it. Because what will happen is, you take that out. One, it's going to take them an hour and 2 hours to get that thing ripped out. And then you've got to deal where there's like 2x4s on the floor, and you got to shore it up, and you just created a whole nother day of work. Probably for you, right? So use that. Just as a little tip. All right, if you take nothing away from this today at all, don't demo those old tile floors. All right. So the next thing you want to be going on the same time as the demo, 3A, which is the exterior. So you really want to be working on the exterior of the house. It's because you want to get the neighbors like talking about it. Say, oh man, I'm so glad that somebody's finally doing something with that house. So those are happening at the same time. So the roof, the siding, the windows are all going on at the same time as the demo because those can overlap, right? Okay, next. Sorry, here's a breakdown of the exterior. So you've got the roofing, the windows, and the siding. You got your driveway. The next part of stage 3 is the rough-in. So the rough-in includes the rough electric, the rough plumbing, and all your framing as well. So the demo's done, rough-in is happening. So at the end of the first phase, it should look like this. It should be an empty house. All the plumbing's in there, all the electric's in there, all the framing's done. That's the end of phase 1. That is one of the hardest parts. You've got through the hardest part. The rest is easy. So going on to the next stage, you're going to do stage 4, which is drywall, tile. Jump back one, Jay. Which is drywall, tile, and a prime coat of paint. So all the hard surfaces. Again, you're looking about 1 to 3 weeks for this. Next one is all your trim carpentry at the end. So your cabinets, now you're putting in your cabinets and your counters. See, this stuff is not complicated. We don't see people mess this stuff up too often. Are we clear that the time should be spent on the planning, on the demo, right? This stuff just goes. The baseboards are installed the right way or they're not. It's one of 2 things, that's it. But with the demo and the planning, there's a lot of other factors. All right, so that's your 5th stage. Then you've got your fixtures that are going in. So you've got your final plumbing, you got your final electric. So now you're putting it all, this is when it gets fun, right? It's all now starting to come together. So your drywall's done. Now you're putting your fixtures back in. Next one, carpet, and then doors. Because I don't know what it is. You could hire a mechanical engineer to install your doors, and for whatever reason, they'll never line up with how the carpet is. So you go to it always happens the night before the open house, right? And you go to that bedroom to pull the door shut, and it's like this because the carpet is too high or the door's too low. So you get the carpet down. So pull the doors off for the carpet guys. They'll thank you, right, Dan? Have them put the carpet down, then have them put the doors back on, cut them to the right length. Don't pay them until that is done. Because otherwise hey, can you come back? None of the doors work. It's like, those numbers changed. It's weird. He's got you blocked already. All right. The last thing. The three most important phases are this, or the stages. The planning and the demo. And the last stage is the most important one, the final 10%. This is the one, and some of you are at this stage right now in your rehab, and you think you're about a week out from being done, and you are wrong. You're going to tell everybody at Mio's, oh yeah, I'm about done, should be done next week. It's not going to be done next week. I want to break it to you. Still takes like 2 weeks to get all that stuff done. And don't think for a second, oh, I'll just go ahead and put it on the market. It's good enough. Good enough doesn't get it. So take the time, make sure everything's done. Go through at the end. If you're working with a general contractor that's doing the whole job, save part of the money back at the end so that the final piece is after the punch-out's done. Have the property cleaned, either do it yourself or hire somebody to do it because there's going to be dust everywhere. And I highly, highly recommend that you have the property staged. There's a lot of good staging companies out there. There's a few that we recommend. If you go to our website and you click on the contractor directory and click on the staging, you'll see the ones that we recommend. But staging is very important. I think that, I don't know, I see sometimes people don't have it staged and it sells right away. I'm like, oh, well, but I'm too scared not to stage a house because it gives the buyer vision, right? So staging is important. All right, those are the stages. So you've got planning, demolition, exterior roughing and framing, drywall, tile, and painting, cabinets, cases, and bases, your fixtures, carpets and doors, and the last 10%. Do you see how this is all common sense? Right? It's not complicated. It rarely is. If you keep everything divided up with different stages and you divide it up in the phases, you will be okay. You can scale that out. You'll notice that we've got an awesome new professional videographer back here instead of just me with my camcorder set up in the back. I want to thank Shane for being here from True Artist Studio. If you guys need a good videographer, I cannot recommend them enough. They're an awesome combination of reasonable price and very, very good at their jobs. So I say that because now when I say we'll be posting videos of the workshops on our website, I can tell you the truth and say we are posting videos on the website. So we'll be posting the pieces of last month's workshop on there. We'll be posting this one on there as well. We want you guys to be able to go. My vision for the Build website by the end of this year is that you'll be able to get on there and you can rehab a house from start to finish with everything that you need on there completely for free. All right? That's what I want to help you do. I ask that if, when you're looking at a house, you consider buying your next property from us. The other thing I'd ask you to do is please join us over at Mio's so we can buy you free drinks so you can come and hang out, meet other people here that have done business with us and other investors who are actively doing this. You'll learn just as much over there as you do up here listening to me. So thanks again, and we will see you here next month. Thanks, guys.